Welcome to Resourceful Explorations. Today we're going to make a paper mache bowl. For today's bowl you're going to need quite a few things, but they're pretty easy to find around. One, you're going to need a bowl that you already have somewhere in your house. A little tiny bit of flour, some water, some cling wrap, and best case scenario, some newspaper. I scrounged. Any sort of paper will work, but newsprint works the best because it's so thin, okay? If you go through your junk mail, you'll probably find some newsprint flyers or something in there. Worst case, you can just use your actual junk mail and tear that up and make your stuff. We're going to start by making the paper mache liquid. For this, you're going to use 1 part flour to 2 parts water. So what I did is did 1/3 of a cup of flour, and I'm going to add 2/3 of a cup of water. So 1/3 flour. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. I have my 1/3 cup of flour. I'm actually going to mix it in my Pyrex because it's got a higher wall. And then I'm going to use a spatula. I've heard that a whisk works really well, and I'm going to mix and mix and mix until there aren't any more lumps. This could take a few minutes. Okay, mixing that wasn't nearly as tricky as I envisioned. If you have some Elmer's glue sitting around, you could just put a little squeeze of that in there. I don't have any, so I'm not going to add that. Okay, I'm going to set this aside and get my paper ready. The cool thing about newsprint is that it tears really easily. So if you pull your whole paper out like this, and if you kind of grab about 1 inch across, it is kind of designed to tear. So you're going to make long strips. Okay, I'm thinking that's going to be enough. I have some more here if I need it. And now I'm going to prep my bowl. Now, when you choose your bowl, it can be really any kind of bowl, but you need one that doesn't have any undercuts. An undercut would be some part of this bowl that I couldn't see. If I looked straight down at it, I wouldn't be able to see it. Now, the reason I need it to be that way is because we're going to form our paper mache over this existing bowl, okay? And if it has a little undercut, say under here, then when I go to pull this off, it's not going to come off, okay? Most of the bowls you have are probably not going to have an undercut unless it's a handmade bowl. But if it's slip cast like this, you're probably safe. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover my bowl in cling wrap. The reason we're going to do this is because we want the paper mache to come off really easily, and we don't want to mess up our bowl. Pull it really snug. Cling wrap is sometimes annoying when it does what it's doing right now, which is getting all crimped up. Okay, so the cling wrap is not a part of your final product, so don't stress about it, but it is going to help protect your bowl. Okay, squish it down really well. So now I have my protected bowl, I have my paper mache kind of liquid, I have my paper strips. The next part is to get ready for the messy part. So you see I already put down a piece of paper. This would be a good time to move to the garage or someplace you could get a little bit messy. I'm also going to take off all my hand jewelry. Okay, now we're ready to begin. So we're going to be using these newspaper strips, but this is a really long strip, so I'm probably going to end up tearing these guys in half. I'm going to move my liquid up here closer to me. Stir it up again because it kind of separated. Get rid of my spatula. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip my pieces of paper in the liquid, and then I'm going to kind of squeegee them off, and then I'm going to place them on my mold. So dip. Now what I do is hold it up at the top, squeegee, very technical, and then start wrapping, okay? Now the hard part is getting it to wrap nicely and flat, okay? It's gonna take a little bit of finagling, but you'll figure it out. Again, dip, squeegee, and you're always going to overlap your new piece with your old piece, okay? If you don't have overlap, then you're not gonna have a strong layer. So that was actually 2 pieces. Okay, wrap it on there. I'm gonna re-dip this guy. Squeegee, overlap. Okay, see how I'm really pressing it down on there? Next one, tear it in half, dip, and place. Make sure you got that overlap. Squish it down. That's why you want it really thin, because when it's thin, you kind of squish it into position however you want to. Now, what I'm going to end up doing over the course of this is going over it one way, and then I'll come back and I'll make more strips coming from a different direction to make this stronger. Now I'm not too worried about down here, because what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just cut that part off once it's dry. I'm gonna keep going, dip, squeegee, lay it on there. Do your best to eliminate wrinkles, but some degree of wrinkles are inevitable. I'm gonna go down here. Now I'm pretty close to having the whole thing coated, which is good. I'm gonna do one more up on the front that I can't really see. Dip, squeegee, place. Again, try to get the least amount of crimping you can. Good. So for my next layer, I'm gonna go the opposite way that I did in my first layer. So I'm gonna go perpendicular to the last one. So these ones are going this way. The next one's gonna be going the opposite direction. Squeegee, place. Pat all those little bubbles down. Dip, squeegee, place. Again, making sure you're overlapping every single time for strength. Try to get all those creases out. There we go. This way. Cinch it down to the bottom really well. You see why I put a drop cloth down? It's pretty gross now. Oof, got on my face. Okay, just a few more. Now what I'm going to do is go around and do the whole edge one more time, because I want that edge to be really strong. So I'm going to go all the way around the perimeter here. these pieces will also help guide me when I go back later and cut this, all that extra stuff off. Again, around, press that in there. One for the back side. So see how I'm getting kind of a corner pooch? I'm going to kind of crimp that and then fold it over. Kind of like hospital corners on a bed. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about it actually. I'm going to do just a couple more because I have more paper, honestly. We want at least, I'm thinking I want 3 layers for strength. I'm going to go one more time the opposite way I went the last time. The other thing I really want to be strong is the bottom because that's going to be holding this whole thing up. It's starting to look like something. I kind of like all the colors in there. Dip, squeegee, place. Kind of wish I could see that front edge. Looking really good. Really try to get all those little seams squished down.